Hello and welcome to another serving of convention tea. We are serving up our first convention of the year, Anime Los Angeles 21, otherwise known as Anime Los Angeles 2026. Basically, the convention goes by this naming convention founded by science fiction and fantasy conventions where it's the title of the convention followed by the order of the convention. So this is the 21st Anime Los Angeles. It took place in Long Beach, one of my favorite locations for conventions. I'm so excited to talk about this convention because I have to say that Anime Los Angeles is one of my favorite conventions in California, so much so that you see out of state people coming to Anime Los Angeles to just check out the vibes. In fact, one of our people in our Uma Musume meetup was actually flying in from New York, and when we ran into them at Islands, like, yeah, I gotta take a red eye back to New York right after this. Like, oh wow, I'm just impressed that this is just becoming like the California convention to check out after you've been burned out by Anime Expo. And not gonna lie, as much as I do enjoy helping Anime Expo where I can, be it panels or anything else. Anime Los Angeles is just one of those few conventions left in California that's all about community, and there's so much to do. In fact, I felt like I didn't do enough. However, because I am someone who likes to give back to the community, I'm someone who likes to put on a great show. Well, let me tell you about my experience at Anime Los Angeles 21 here on Convention Tea. And before we get things started, if this is your first time checking out Convention Tea, this is scarletrhapsody.com. I've been running this website, I've been running this collective of convention lore since the early 2000s. Basically, I started this whole operation at Anime Expo 2000. I wanted to write about my convention experience, post photos, post stories, post out of context quotes on my website, and then it just expanded from there. Since then, I've been doing podcasts, been guest on podcasts. I've just been doing a lot with conventions. And not only that, I've been presented with media badges throughout the years, I've written books, I've just been all over the place when it comes to convention culture. And I don't intend to stop anytime soon. Something I wanted to preface about Anime Los Angeles that it is the premier ribbons convention for anime conventions. This trend started in science fiction fantasy conventions wherein you would have like these ribbons that you would attach to your badge. I attended Worldcon back in the mid 2000s, back when it was in Anaheim. And I didn't quite get it because a lot of the ribbons that you had to collect were at these 21 plus parties, and I was under the age of 21, so like I really couldn't get into it. I only had a few ribbons, but you'll see people with hundreds of ribbons attached to their badge. And every year I like to also give out my own ribbons as well. So this year, with the help of Anime Los Angeles staff, I had three color ribbons. One is my Fangirl Diaries. This is the book I wrote. If you bought a copy of my book, The Fangirl Diaries, you get a ribbon. I also have my Anime Expo Long Beach Years ribbon. So if you attended Anime Expo during the Long Beach era, you get that ribbon. And also, if you remember Kevin Lillard of Fans View, you also get this ribbon as well. And fun fact, the artwork on this logo for Fansview is actually made by the one of our guests of honor at Ame Los Angeles, Yaya Han, back when she was known for her artwork before she was known as an internationally renowned cosplayer. In addition to badges I was ribbons I was giving away. Um, I wanted to do a Seattle Seahawks ribbon. It originally started out as a joke, and then a few of my friends wanted to do like this NFL ribbon game, and but that kind of didn't it kind of like didn't go off the ground because a friend wanted to represent the Chargers and like okay wanted new OL and OC code. Yeah. Let's not talk about that. But I'm glad they fired Greg Roman. But this is a conventions discussion, not a discussion about my feelings on the NFL. Yep, and then we also have Born in 1989, which is a Taylor Swift reference. This was just like my giveaway ribbon. It's like, yeah, like even if you don't know the reference, I will hand you a Born in 1989 ribbon. I also had leftovers my Your Forger ribbon. The coffee ribbon, that wasn't mine, but if you look closely below the coffee ribbon, I was also part of a Magical Girl ribbon game where I was giving away the Fushigi Yugi ribbon. So, when it comes to the Fushigi Yugi ribbon, for that ribbon game, my original question to earn the Fushigi Yugi ribbon, and I wanted to make it in a way where if you didn't watch the series, you can participate in it. So my question for to get the Fushigi Yugi ribbon, you've been isekai'd to ancient China. What is the first thing you do? And after I got two answers along the lines of, yeah, if I was isekai to ancient China, I'd unalive myself. I'm like, okay, this might not be the best question to ask. So I changed the question to, you've been isekai to the last book you read. How effed up is your situation? So I asked that around, and it didn't have to be the last book you read. It could have been like just something you probably read on AO3, fan fiction. Maybe you're playing like a gotcha game and you were reading the latest Uma Musume story event going on. So yeah, what was the last thing you read, and how effed up is your situation? And that's how you'd earn a Fushigi Yugi ribbon because the anime is about two girls who get isekai'd into ancient China after stumbling upon an ancient book in the library. All right. We do have some people in the chat. We have Glitch. Yep, Yayahan, artist cosplayer, living weapon. And we have first time chatter Maury Corvin. I have so many old ribbons from past things. I do too. I even have like some past ribbons from Anime Los Angeles back during the Van Nuys era. And of course, before we start with our dose of convention tea for Anime Los Angeles, I would like to remind y'all that this presentation is organic. In other words, well, as organic as it gets. We have a no AI policy here at Scarlet Rhapsody. So everything you see here is just all handmade and all that fun stuff. So basically, no chat GBT. We are human. We have a brain. We have a heart. And we have wood. And it seems to me like this is the second time Craig Yamaguchi has been mentioned on Twitch. Also in the chat, we have, I love the Magical Girl weapons. I do too. Only got Pretty Sammy, but designs were so good. I agree. Yeah, no AI found here. All right, if you're wondering why the long title, this year's Anime Los Angeles theme was Isekai. So part of that Isekai theme is having those long titles that we're so familiar with. So you found this, the long title here was actually on the badge lanyards themselves. I have a reusable badge lanyard that I always bring to conventions. It's like this red floral Japanese cherry blossom kind of design that I usually normally use. However, I had to just pick up the lanyard just for like, well, you never know when I need an extra lanyard, and yeah, it's one of the few lanyards I've actually kept because normally a lot of times when you go to conventions and they hand you a lanyard for your badge, it's usually that shoestring kind of lanyard, or it's a sponsored lanyard that doesn't have a date. It's not really themed to the con. It's like usually like, hey, this is a Crunchyroll kind of lanyard, and I usually get rid of those. But I liked every year they have unique lanyards. All right, and of course, our sponsors is Petals and Poisons. With Petals and Poisons, you can get some really cute gothic accessories for yourself or for that special vampire in your life. You can use my code SPECTRE15 to get 15% off your total purchase. One of my favorite purchases from Petals and Poison is a coffee mug that is shaped like an urn. So it looks like I'm drinking something out of a very mysterious urn. Am I drinking coffee or am I nomming on some ashes? Who knows? Okay, I should probably change this title because this is not Geek Girl Con, but these were the panels that I was running at Anime Los Angeles. So my first image here is the image I shared on my socials. So I was running the Girlhood is Magic Millennial Magical Girls. I was in Cosplay Wrestling Federation for both nights. I helped run the Angel Hearts workshop where we taught the audience how to do para para. And then, literally on the night before the panel, I made this graphic to share Uma Musume from real life to anime. I came up with this right before I went to sleep. Shared this with my friends who are like hosting the Uma Musume panel. I basically was like the moderator for the panel. It's like, okay, you need something to post on your socials. Here it is. Here's your Uma Musume graphic. And if you notice closely on the Uma Musume graphic, that's actually an old photo of Santa Anita Park. And if you also look closely for Trainer Son, it's actually a glamour from Final Fantasy XIV, or I should say critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV. All right. Usually I like to talk about what were the popular fandoms represented via cosplay. It goes without saying that Uma Musume was the most popular fandom out of all cosplays. In fact, Uma Musume, they had 4 days of cosplay gatherings throughout the convention in different locations. I attended day one and day four. I only took photos on day one, but day four, that's when I cosplayed as Zeno Rob Roy and just kind of joined in with all the horsing around. And then we had like a lot of folks cosplaying from Apothecary Diaries. I can't blame them because I love the designs in Apothecary Diaries. I liked a lot of the concubine designs. And if I ever were to cosplay from Apothecary Diaries, I'd probably cosplay as Mao Mao when she's kind of like in her cat mode. In fact, one of my emojis for my channel is actually inspired by Mao Mao when she goes in her cat mode because I have days where I feel like I'm going into cat mode too. And all of y'all are very much welcome to use my cat mode emoji as seen here in the chat. And of course, it goes without saying that K pop Demon Hunters is going to be around for a while. Considering that on Sunday, K pop Demon Hunters won the Golden Globe for Best Original Song, Golden. I think it's going to be around for a while. I'm still waiting for my Zoe cosplay to show up in the mail. Cannot wait to cosplay as Zoe. It's just taking a while to just arrive in the mail, and it should arrive in mid-February. I needed it back at KomoriCon, but you know what? It's all right. Yeah, you have this family here cosplaying as Genu, Tiger, and the Magpie. All right. Just a quick advert for Angel Hearts. This is the idol group I am in. So Angel Hearts, we are a idol para idol master cover group, and you know we also do some other stuff too. And we're really looking forward to performing at Fanime, and basically we've been around since 2003. First covering a lot of J-pop, this and that. I didn't join until about 2 years ago at San Diego Anime Con. You can check out our YouTube channel. This is where you can check out most of our idol content. And yeah, check us out. We do a lot of para. We do. It's just an amazing group. Just like and subscribe. Check us out. All right, let's just talk about day zero. Now let's actually talk about the convention itself. So, with day zero, I usually go in on day zero. I pick up my badge. This year, I didn't staff. It was my first time not staffing ALA since the con moved to Long Beach. Normally, I would help out with the ballroom dance, but I had commitments the day after where I had to be up at 7 a.m. And your commitment with ballroom dance, you're helping out until like close to 1 a.m. And usually it's like working with staff, making sure that whoever wins a cosplay contest like gets a badge the following year. It's just like a lot of just kind of coordination and just a lot of just cleanup after the ballroom dance. So couldn't help out this year because I had an early morning commitment. So at day zero, you go in, you pick up your badge, and then if you are into ribbon trading, you go down to the Hyatt and you'll meet a lot of folks who are trading ribbons. I actually brought in a couple of my ribbons for trade with friends. My friend Katie, she was giving out My Feet Hurt. I was giving away my Taylor Swift 1989 ribbon. A friend of mine was giving away like K-pop Demon Hunters ribbons, and he was also playing like Taylor Swift and K-pop Demon Hunters mixes, and also K-pop Demon Hunters and KDA mixes, which is like, this speaks to my heart. I love KDA, and I was even telling him like, look, one of these days I need to make like Ari KDA Ari ribbons, and I need to make a Evelyn ribbon that is also reference to Justin Herbert as well. Should get like one of her looking happy, like go Evelyn's boyfriend's team. For those of you who don't know, Madison Beer, who voices Evelyn in KDA, she's currently dating Justin Herbert, the quarterback of the LA Chargers. Oh, fine, San Diego Chargers. Anyway, so sometimes you could also play some ribbon games here too. Sometimes we'll have guessing games, roll of the dice. The ribbon culture in ALA is wild, and if you're going to Anime Los Angeles and you just want to partake in a very unique social activity, highly recommend coming in with ribbons. Even if you're just coming in with like a set of one or two, you'll meet like a lot of people who will just give away ribbons, trade ribbons, do ribbon challenges. It's a lot of fun. It's like one of my favorite parts of the convention. Okay, before we go to day one, let's talk about this Cosplay Wrestling Federation. Cosplay Wrestling Federation is well, it's the best in cosplay sports entertainment. With Cosplay Wrestling Federation, cosplayers will create promos and try to see who will win the title bet of cosplay heavyweight champion. I hope I got that right. I hope Lashada doesn't kill me. But check us out, Cosplay Wrestling Federation. We've been around for 10 plus years, providing the most hyped up events at conventions in around the West Coast, and sometimes you might see us on the East Coast. This is just a really fun show. I'm glad to have been a part of it for the past couple of years. I normally perform as Sailor Mars, and you might see some folks in Cosplay Wrestling Federation in the chat right now. All right, with Thursday. So Thursday, basically I just parked like in the right behind the convention center. I refer to this entrance to the convention center because it's right by the hockey sports arena where the former Ice Dogs used to play. I call this the Boy Aquarium entrance. So, as I was entering in Anime Los Angeles, I already had my badge. I ran into the Apothecary Diaries cosplay meetups. Like, oh my god, I love all their meows. So just kind of decided just kind of just stick around, just take some photos of the Apothecary Diaries cosplay meetup. I'm like, I just finished season 2 in like 2 days, and I'm like, yeah, I'm intrigued. I need to start reading the manga. And season 1 was great, but season 2 takes you on a ride. And season 2 is like one of those seasons that's worth watching over again to just kind of pick up on the small things and things that may have been hidden in plain sight. I won't say much, but I definitely want to go through season 2 again to pick up what I missed. So Thursday, I cosplayed as Miyaka from Fushigi Yugi. So at cosplaying as Miyaka, I had to remake the underdress. So the Saturday before, I ended up just making the underdress. And so this is one of my favorite costumes I made because I wanted to make something that had a very Danmei aesthetic combining with the Suzaku no Miko kind of outfit. So I have a photo here with Yaya. I haven't spoken to her in years. I mean, Brian and I, we'll talk to each other like every now and then, but like I haven't seen her in years, and it's so great to see her again. Unfortunately, she wasn't selling her book at the convention. It's actually out of print, but I was able to find a copy of her book about cosplay on Amazon. So I ended up ordering it after the convention, still waiting for it to arrive. But I like collecting a lot of books about fandom, about cosplay. And my next holy grail item is Kevin Lillard's book. So hopefully I can find that. And then, of course, anytime I cosplay as Miyaka, I have to take a foodie selfie. So I ended up getting takoyaki at the convention. The convention dealer's hall, they were selling takoyaki. If you could smell fish in the dealer's hall, that was it. Because, like, why does it smell so fishy in the dealer's hall? Oh, it's on the food stalls that they had, like, on one side of the convention center. I mean, granted, the cost of the takoyaki plus a drink will run you about $20-ish. Like, yeah, I know it's a lot, but you know, it's fresh food. I honestly would rather have takoyaki than generic burger and fries, but that's just me personally. And I kind of feel like it's not an anime convention for me until I have my takoyaki. I love these guys. I see these guys all the time at conventions, so sometimes they'll have like this whole like vote thing. In this one, it's like sword versus gun. Who would win in a fight, or gun? So I had to like kind of overthink this. I won't tell you what I voted, but if you tell me what you voted in the chat, I'd love to hear. Mention in the comments, which would you vote for? Would you vote for a sword or a gun? Also, one of my favorite things about this convention is the convention's unofficial, well, technically it is, Ala is the mascot. She's the girl in the purple hair you see in a lot of the printed convention materials. But here you'll have Vladimir, who's a stuffed giraffe, who's kind of like part of ALA culture. So they gave Vladimir the giraffe a staff badge, and this is where you can like place badges, place your ribbons on him. And I thought this was pretty neat, so I gave him a bird noises ribbon. Well, let's see how well that ages. I mean, they did win today. Just other cosplays I've noticed on Thursday. I was like highlighting just some cosplays I thought that stood out. I was very happy to see G Gundam cosplays. I haven't seen G Gundam, but I like the designs. I just like how wacky G Gundam is when you contrast it with this with the UC timeline. And then you also have someone cosplaying as a Joanne's employee. I thought that was very nice, a tribute to Joanne's. And speaking of retail, we have In and Out cosplayers, and they were also giving out In and Out ribbons. So if you were able to name something on the secret menu, they gave you a In and Out ribbon. I also ran my panel on magical girls. And to show you how crazy people are for ribbons, this is like the line right after my panel where people wanted to like ribbons, bookmarks, because it's not just ribbons people are hunting. People are also like looking for trinkets, and I'm always giving away bookmarks at conventions because I kind of feel like, okay, people are definitely gonna want to use bookmarks when they read, or you never know when you might need a bookmark. So I usually give out bookmarks that advertise my book, and they also highlight one of my favorite artists to work with, Hawari, their art on that. So as the book person, I like giving out bookmarks, and I was also doing the Fushigi Yugi ribbon game here because after all, I'm cosplaying as Miyaka, and I'm doing a presentation on Magical Girl, this and that. So yeah, I'm just amazed, like, I had this long of a line of people wanting to like trade ribbons or just talk shoujo anime with me after the panel. So yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed running the Magical Girl panel. I ran this panel first at Geek Girl Con, so I did like this general overview of Magical Girl anime of the 90s. And I had trouble like connecting to the internet, just getting video on there. But one of the things I do like about the Long Beach Convention Center is if you're presenting, you do have access to Wi-Fi, and I was able to use Wi-Fi, able to present off Canva without any issues. I also wandered into the arcade. I wanted to see what kind of rhythm games they have. If I could make some time on Sunday when I was wearing comfy shoes to maybe get a round of DDR. If they had Para Para, I was all in. And I actually ran into my friends who were playing this mocap boxing game. I didn't see them clearly from up front, and I was like looking at the bars. I'm like, wait, are they playing Para Para? I can't tell. And I was like, wait, they're playing mocap boxing. I've never heard of this. I'm actually kind of curious. Yeah, I didn't get any rounds of DDR in there, but I always like this gaming room because it looks so cozy because you have like couches plopped against consoles so you can play like Smash, any fighting games there, just in a very cozy kind of area. They even had board games that you could rent and play with friends. So this is a really cozy place to like play arcade games. But I know it was a pain in the ass to get into this area during after hours. Yeah, I just gotta highlight these Gundams. So awesome. Yeah, this is a lobby right here. This was just like the area of for cosplayers like to be seen, to get their photos taken of. One of the things I like about Long Beach is I feel like you can't go wrong with like a lot of the locations for cosplay play photos. Outside is really nice. If you know how to like point your camera around the Long Beach Convention Center, you can get some really great lighting shots in here. You also have the Theater, and you also have the palm trees right by the Boy Aquarium. Other cosplays. I was surprised to find like these sub villains from Pinocchio. I forgot their names. It's like Honest John and Catboy. I do like my Disney Foxes though. I just forgot what the Catboy's name is. If you guys know what the Catboy's name is, drop it in the chat or drop it in the comments. And then we have our dear friend Jeffrey, the giraffe from Toys R Us. If I had a nickel for every giraffe I've seen at Anime Los Angeles, I'd have 2 nickels. So yeah, I always like seeing this guy at conventions because I think last time I saw Jeffrey the Giraffe, he was at Anime Expo, and then there were, because I'm also a Review Starlight fan. Anytime I saw a giraffe head pop up, I'm like, wait, are they cosplaying from Review Starlight? Is it that mysterious giraffe that kind of functions like the end of the world from Utena? But yeah, my childhood, Jeffrey the Giraffe. And then we have classic Vash with Curl Neko. I am manifesting that Curl Neko is going to show up in this next season of Trigun. Like, please, Curl Neko, show up. I love you. You're like one of my favorite characters. I kind of felt like Curl Neko was like Naito's signature on each episode. It's like Curl Neko, one of my favorite anime cats. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Anime Los Angeles, huge ribbon culture. Oh, Gideon. Okay, that's the cat's name, Gideon. Thank you so much, Maury Corbin. I really appreciate that. So, assuming Google's not failing me. But yeah, I think you're right. It is Gideon the cat. Like those are names you don't really think about in the Pinocchio movie. Like Geppetto, Pinocchio, Figaro, Cleo, Blue Fairy, but Gideon, that's something you don't have at the tip of your tongue. But here at the ribbon station, this is where I picked up my colored ribbons that I pre-ordered right before the convention. And this is where you can also kind of play some ribbon games. And you can also post, like, if you're doing like a ribbon hunting game. So again, I was part of the Magical Girl ribbon game. And you can also post, like, this is what we're doing. Or, like, even just find a table to just kind of, like, just trade with other people. So yeah, like I said, there's a huge, like, ribbon industry at Anime Los Angeles. Okay, like I mentioned, I didn't staff ballroom dance this year, but I just thought it'd be just nice to just take a quick peek at the ballroom dance lessons. A couple of my friends are in the background here, just learning some new dance steps. Usually Thursday is like the day to just kind of like learn some ballroom moves right before the big dance in the evening. And you got your dance floor right here. I heard like they were thinking about like upgrading the dance floor because it looks, yeah, even just looking at the photo here, it looks fairly like it's had its time. It's time for a new ballroom dance floor. And Youth Ballroom Dance is ran by California Cosplay Gala, ran by Craig. And like I mentioned before, I did attend the Uma Musume cosplay meetup on day one. So it was right by the Boy Aquarium. So it was really fun because not only you had your cosplayers just kind of just come up in groups, a season by season, whether you're a front runner, a pace chaser, whether you're a trainer. One of my favorite things about this meetup was like towards the end, we had Uma races like right around this tree area. So right outside the Boy Aquarium, we were having Uma races. I was still cosplaying some Miyako. I attended as a photographer, but like, oh, this is actually kind of fun just seeing people just race for their lives. And I was even just joking around. I wonder if we're gonna have these kind of shenanigans on day 4. I also checked out the this is also the K-pop dance segment. Um, Basically sometimes they'll have like K-pop open dance. I know there's like an official name for it. I know it's at the tip of my tongue. Basically, they'll play like a K-pop song. If you know the dance routine to it, get on the floor. If not, step aside. And it's just fun just seeing people just like who know the dance who just get up on there and just do their thing. And with that said, that concludes day 1. This is just a selfie of myself and my friends as we are rehearsing for Cosplay Wrestling Federation for our segment. So yeah, just go us. And before we go into day 2, Convention Tea is brought to you by Yemax Sweater. This is one of my favorite places for cozy and comfort and loungewear. Basically, you can just pick up a sweater here. They have vintage inspired designs. It's just like just cozy wear to just wear around the house. Check them out at ymacsweater.com, and you can use my code YMAC-Dame Asnable to get 40% off your total purchase. So, yeah, use my code YMAC-Dame Asnable to get 40% off your purchase at ymacsweater.com. Oh, wait, that K pop dance thing that was supposed to be for Friday. Okay. All right, yeah, I already talked about K pop dance stuff. All right. I didn't participate in any events that would warrant like prize ribbons, but I just kind of decided to take a peek at the prize emporium. So a lot of sometimes conventions, like if they have like games or scavenger hunts, you might be able to earn like prize tickets. So it's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, where you get like a number of tickets and you can claim something over in the prize emporium. Last year, I ended up just getting a couple of necklaces. I have a Shinobu themed necklace that I still wear to this day. But just kind of look around. Sometimes you'll have books, manga, figures, and just other this and that, like at the Prize Emporium. All right, Friday cosplay. We have people cosplaying from Disney. Um, okay, shouldn't say that this is cosplay, but we have folks cosplaying in J fashion, Gyaru, Lolita. Yeah, I've always liked this particular Lolita JSK where it has like all the breakfast treats. It's one of my personal favorites, and I've also noticed that they're wearing a Bambi beret. So like, yeah, cute stuff. And you also have like a duo here cosplaying from Studio Ghibli. Let's see. We have here Wandering Slacker 91. The prize room staff are excellent, stocked up on vintage new type magazines and Hamtaro Burger King toys last year. Didn't have enough tickets for the Zoids kit this year. Aw. Yeah, I ended up getting a necklace last year, but sometimes I like peeking in to see what they have. All right, some more Friday cosplayers. Char from Char's Counterattack. I actually went up to this Char cosplayer and told him, like, you know what? Like, I was already committed to doing Miyaka because of the Magical Girl panel on the day of the Gundam cosplay meetup. And I have Hamon Karn. I have Nanai halfway done from Char's Counterattack. And I have Sailor Moss. And yeah, I just kind of was just bummed that like I missed out on it just to meet like other Gundam cosplayers. Like I was just so happy to see, oh my god, it's Char from Char's Counterattack. And of course, we also have Saber in the Honkai Star Rail outfit. And we have my buddy Katie here as Shikanoko-tan. It's a catchy theme song. So for Friday, I didn't really stick around too long because I had real life things I had to do in the morning and early in the afternoon. My prime directive for Friday was Cosplay Wrestling Federation, and yeah, we have Joker and the Phantom Thieves here. Um, yeah, just about to just wreck things up and turn the world upside down in Cosplay Wrestling Federation. These aren't my photos. These were taken by Christy, aka Trisha's quiet friend, and this is our crowd on night one of Cosplay Wrestling Federation. So this is Friday evening. We were in the largest room, so we ended up attracting like a pretty big crowd, and let's just see what happens. So in the surprise turn of events, we have Shadow the Hedgehog, the current title holder, surrender his belt to Joker. And so that meant for night two of Cosplay Wrestling Federation, all the competitors had to go up against Joker. And this was just like our final shot here. I was representing NECA World Order as Hollywood Persian. And unfortunately, my tag team partner, Linen, was horribly defeated by the Dilfs. And we'll just have to see where that story goes. I do like our NECA World Order spiel here. That was a lot of fun. And of course, returning to Cosplay Wrestling Federation is Stan. So also here, yeah, Stan's returning to do referee duties. And then we also have Trish the ref here. I was actually giving out Puto to the contestants. My mom ended up just getting some bake pastries. Like, yeah, here's some puto, share it with your friends. And I actually had an idea as a Hollywood Persian to have a plate of puto in my hand and then present it to Mr. Say like, hey Satan, want some puto? So yeah, that was a joke with that. And then my mom got a dozen. It's like, okay, I'm sharing this with Cosplay Wrestling Federation. So there's Trishna Ref with puto in her mouth. I will leave it at that. And yeah, just sharing photos from my other friends. We just kind of like because yeah, nightlife at ALA is a thing. I didn't really partake in like most of the nightlife at ALA because there was like what Fountain Con, um, Bridge Con. I don't know, but yeah, just nighttime shenanigans. So my nighttime shenanigans, I actually this was an unofficial Anime Los Angeles event called Gorilla Live, and it's hosted by local idols. These were for idols who felt like they wanted to have like their own event outside of Anime Los Angeles, but within the convention center. So it was held outdoors. Weather was pretty cold, so shout out to all the people who performed at Gorilla Live. Basically, ALA, they do have an idol showcase, but we'll talk about that later. Basically, entries are very limited. So they can only hold like so many performers, like in a 3 hour show block. However, LA, we have like a lot of talent. In around Southern California, we have a lot of Kai Guy idol talent that needs to be recognized. And Knife Plate decided to have this event where various local idols performed. And this year, she gave us a magical girl theme. So you had people singing songs from Pre-Tier, Revolutionary Girl Utena. I was even singing along to the Utena theme song. So it was just kind of neat just watching this with Key. Both of us from Angel Hearts were just kind of like just watching and just being support of the community. And it was actually pretty neat. It was a lot of fun. Just kind of like showing some photos here. Sometimes it's just really hard to get photos like in the evening with my point and click camera. And you also had like people just getting their light sticks out. And this is just fun. I always appreciate what Knife Fleet does for the community. And I'm glad that we were able to do this. And I was able to make time to catch it because I wasn't sure if my commitment with CWF would allow me to watch Gorilla Live, but I'm glad I did. And after Girl Alive, I just decided to just join Cosplay Wrestling Federation for an evening at Calaveras. So I'm just kind of hanging out here with Key in the back, and we're just kind of enjoying like just we're about to enjoy some drinks and some tasty Mexican food. And before we go on to day 3, I wanted to also just give Nico's GoFundMe a shout out. Nico had an accident last summer. He's doing great, by the way. I just want to share this photo because I love his expression here. I just love this photo here that my brother took of Nico when he was still had the cone of shame. But Nico, he's doing great. However, we still need to raise money for his surgery bills. We're billed every month. And if you would like to help us out, any amount counts towards Nico's vet bills. Link in the description of this video to learn more on how you can contribute to helping us out pay Nico's vet bills because vet bills without insurance is expensive. We're on insurance now, but if anything, you have even $5 to help us out with Nico's recovery bills, it would be very much appreciated. And I know Nico would very much appreciate that too. All right, Saturday. So I parked in my usual spot on Saturday right by the Boy Aquarium entrance. And as I entered into the Boy Aquarium entrance, I met security and you won't believe what they gave me. They gave me ribbons. I know people have this love-hate relationship with security at Amy Los Angeles because a lot of the rules for props can be very inconsistent. But I also felt like, at least going through the Boy Aquarium entrance, I was met by these folks who are super friendly, and like even the person on the right is a Chargers fan. So we were just even Stan and and the security person, we were just like just kind of gushing about the Chargers and Sunday's game. Let's not talk about Sunday's game. But anyway, so they gave us out like Long Beach Convention Center ribbons, and I really appreciate that. Even security was just in on the fun, so I didn't really have any. bad run-ins with security, even when I brought in like a salad or just some snacks from home. But I know other people who did. Like I know like part of security, one of the downsides was you had to bring in like empty water bottles and then you could just fill it up at the convention center. I know I had to finish up my coffee from Starbucks before going in, so which is pretty standard. So it's just kind of good information to know prior to being let in. Like if you're bringing like a hydro flask or a water bottle, make sure it's empty and just fill up when you're inside, I guess. I also stopped by the Itasha section. I was like looking at the Itasha section of conventions. Even though Southern California's Itasha displays, it can be like a little bit repetitive. However, I still like looking at like how people have upgraded or what they added to their cars. I like this spot right here because it's like the isekai truck. And like, yeah, take a photo of yourself driving the isekai truck and you're about to hit this raccoon guy here. Oops. Yeah. So I ended up taking some. I was in my race queen outfit for Angel Hearts because of the panel we were running. So just ended up just dressing up and just taking photos right by cars. And one of my favorites here is from Uma Musume. Excuse me. And like, okay, I need to get a photo with this one as in my race queen outfit. Let's see, Glitch says here, some people know how to sneak food in. Not me, though. Definitely not me. It's the art of going to the movie theaters. I will leave it at that. Also, we have here just come some other cosplay highlights from Saturday. I have not seen a Kodama, okay, child's toy cosplayer in ages, and seeing some making reference to Sana-chan, it's like, oh my god, like I remember this anime. This is like part of my childhood. Yes, Kodocha, it's like one of my favorites. Ultra Relax is still a bop to this day. And then we also have the Jollibee mascot. I love seeing the Jollibee mascot. Like I admit, I'm not a Jollibee person. It's not my go-to fast food place, but I appreciate that non-Filipinos are also appreciating Jollibee. I'm just not a fast food person in general, but I appreciate the existence and that other people outside the Filipino community are enjoying and partaking in it. Okay, we also have Princess Tutu, and this is was a very detailed dress. I was like looking at like what she constructed here. It's like, oh my god, this is pretty. And this is also at the Pokemon booth. I wanted to get a Lyn plush so I can have a little Lyn plush next to my Persian plush. The plushes here start at like $30 for like the small plushes, and only because of a episode of New Heights I was watching. This is one of my favorite Pokemon, Clefable. At least that's what Travis Kelsey calls him. Clefable. I love that Jason had to correct his brother. Like, no, that's Clefable, not Clefable, bro. And then we have, I believe this is like one of the lines for autographs because they had like this whole like fashion section. They also had like Asayoru Cafe performing. I think they also had Hamu Cotton on that stage also performing too. So it's also very interesting how like idol groups were also having concerts like in the dealer's hall, and you had like all these signings going on, and on the other side you also had like the guest of honor signing area. um the one guest of honor that I did get something signed of was Zach Davison. He's one of my favorite authors, translators, and he likes cats. I went to his panel last year at Emerald City Comic Con that's all about comics and cats, and I purchased his book about cats in Japanese folklore. I had him sign it, and I'm looking forward to reading it when I'm in the mood for reading something that is educational. Right now, I'm just reading Bridgerton before season 4 comes out. Just other shenanigans on Saturday. I like the dual Madokas here. There's also a Gundam store, LA Gundam Hobby, and they have like this poll thing where you would just pick if you could pilot any of these mobile suits, which one would it be? And for this one, I picked Sharazaku. I gave it the. This is early in the day, so I just kind of just gave it the one. Um, Talie's was pretty close though, but I decided like, well, no one voted on Sharazaku too. I'll vote for that. But so far, we had Wing Zero, Exia. Not bad. I do like Exia too. So we had like just a tie between Wing Zero and Exia. I didn't have time to see like what the final results were, but I've been curious to see like which would have been the final results for this one. And I just really like this person's outfit and like the accessories that they were carrying with them too. I also went to the J Fashion panel because this is the panel right before ours. So they cover things like Gyaru, um, Visual K, Lolita, and just the basics. What are the components of them? Knowing the rules, knowing when to break the rules. I'm not really deep into the Lolita community or the J Fashion community in Southern California. I just tend to do my own thing. I just tend to hang out with friends. But I thought this was very interesting, just kind of just getting a refresher on all these different substyles because the more I read into it, the more I really like Gyaru and Kogal. In fact, if you noticed on my slide for day zero, I actually wore a Seahawks inspired Kogal outfit, and I tend to wear that next Sunday too. And this is just kind of like a quick candid photo of us um, at the Angel Hearts panel. So there were four of us. There was Key, myself, Tori, and Katie. And it was just kind of cool because we were just kind of just going over the history of Angel Hearts. We were also talking about Para Para. We did like a mini performance and we just also gave a lesson on Para Para basics. And hey, come dance with us to Night of Fire. This video is courtesy of Pi. So shout out to Pi for recording the video. We very much appreciate it. I just love how short I look like here. I'm like Sabrina Carpenter short. Yeah, that move's always a little bit of a challenge. When you on that fourth, you are the Knight of Fire. It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, thank you so much, Pi, for recording the video. Very much appreciate it. And then Cosplay Wrestling Federation. Look at my face there. So Cosplay Wrestling Federation night number 2. This takes place on Saturday night. This is the main event of Anime Los Angeles Annihilation. Basically, we have had about 12 contestants come up to face the current title holder, the Joker from Persona 5. And I made it into the finals again this time around. And I was actually ready just after my experience at San Diego Anime Con, like, okay, to be ready for like the final 1v1 showdown. In fact, like it was really close. I had a lot of fun just kind of just going into the finals, and I actually had material ready to go, but we were also just running short on time. So I kind of had to just kind of like just be very selective about what insults I was going for. But otherwise, I thought this was one of our strongest shows. I can't wait to see what the video looks like when we post it online because we had a lot of strong entries this year. Um, I I just want to say like just everyone really brought their A game, and if we can keep this momentum going, like we're gonna be unstoppable. I mean, we are unstoppable. Yep, good old American Goku. But yeah, the winner of the show ended up being Carl Weezer. He took the title from Joker, and I still had fun being Mars. Mars is like my favorite character to portray. I've been wanting to enter Mars to Cosplay Wrestling Federation back even before I joined. Because I was just thinking about like how would I enter Mars in Cosplay Wrestling Federation, and like yeah, really make emphasis of how she wears red high heels, and just run with that. So Carl was our winner, and it's gonna make things interesting for Fanime, because like I want to enter Mars for Fanime, but I also have like other characters that I want to have go up against Curl. And on my run today, I was thinking like, well, I could ditch Mars for Fanime because I have a heel character that I can see go up against Carl, and I really want to try out this heel character because it's been brewing my mind for a while. Yeah, we have Glitch in the chat who played Gojo from My Dress Up Darling. And he says here, someone told me the girl I pointed out in the audience was actually blushing. I think you should go out as Gojo, get like one of those Danish cookie things, and just use that like I have the ultimate sewing kit, and you just show like a Danish like cookie jar thing. I have a ton of them if you ever need one. And this is just kind of like the final shot of the night on my camera with my friends. Unfortunately, we couldn't get like a group shot because normally have like we normally like do like a family photo towards the end. But honestly, like if I could just have a moment to say like I really appreciate everyone who's given their all to give to who's given their all to Cosplay Wrestling Federation, our performers, our behind the scenes crew, and of course the audience, because without the audience, there is no Cosplay Wrestling Federation. And also shout out to the photographers who taken these photos because my camera was backstage the whole time, and so was my phone because like yeah, I really can't do anything wearing my gloves. But yeah, I just thought it was just an amazing show. It's one of our best. It's one of our greatest hits. And honestly, to the Leon Kennedy, and this was his first CWF, welcome to the family. Also ACAB. And then here we just kind of just have some Saturday cosplayer highlights. Not only we had the Phantom Thieves from First 105, we also have my personal favorite Phantom Thief, Saint Tail, cosplayed by my buddy Jimmy here. It's like, oh my god, it's so velvety, I love it. We also have My Chemical Romance cosplayers. And of course, we have Carl with the belt. And just some photos of Saturday night shenanigans of people just kind of hanging out in the lobby. People would just randomly play like dance music, trade ribbons, and this is pretty much like the hub for nightlife at Anime Los Angeles. Yeah, and you just had people just dressing up for dances. I really like this Eevee group here. I just thought they were just so adorable. And of course, my Saturday, just went out to dinner with friends over at the Outback Steakhouse right across the street. Ended up just getting this it was a very saccharine lavender lemonade, and it was delicious. Loved it. And of course, because I was feeling old, like, you know what? I kind of feel like heading over to 85 at the end of the night. So after feeling a little bit tipsy, Stan and I, we just drove over to 85, got ourselves a milk tea, and just decided to just relax for the rest of the night with this guy right here. And that's Nico. See, I told you he's doing well. He's even inspecting the 24/7 belt. I wonder what cats would do with the 24/7 bells. And before we move on to the last day, I would like to talk about multitasky.com. Multitasky.com is an Asian American woman owned business where you can order office supplies. And one of my favorite office supplies is my light ring right here, which I used for a lot of my photo shoots over at the Biltmore here. If I wanted to just get a little bit of light here, what I would normally do is I would just plug in a battery pack in the back, so get some light while I'm mobile. However, it is one of my favorite things from them. You could also get things like chargers, battery packs, pens, any office supplies you would need for your home office. So if you would like to order, you can use my code Cadillac Cats for 10% off your order on multitasky.com. All right, let's talk about Marvelous Sunday. So Sunday ended up just going with my friends, and we were all cosplaying from Uma Musume. So when we were all cosplaying for Uma Musume, we ended up just grabbing coffee at the Pete's Coffee and Tea before hitting the road. And it was funny too because the people, we were kind of nervous at first because like, okay, we're in cosplay, we're going to normal territory. How would people react? We ended up going to Pete's Coffee and Tea, and people were asking us, even the baristas asked, like, yeah, are you going to Anime Los Angeles? Because I was just there yesterday. Like, yeah, we're going. So I really appreciate that the baristas and some of the customers there were just super friendly because they started asking about Uma Musume. And it was like, yeah, it's a fun game. Download it. It's just so surreal that like how the tides have turned. Because this is my friend's first time cosplaying in several years because they haven't really cosplayed outdoors since lockdown. So this is just like a brand new experience for us. Like, oh, people, it's very nice that people are very not just accepting about it, but also immersed in it too. Like your barista's like, yeah, I was just at Anime Los Angeles, and I only post this photo here because this is the location of the Uma Musume gathering on Sunday. And I was just making like this joke, like, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger drove through that tuffet in Last Action Hero. And that's a photo of Arnold Schwarzenegger just trying to driving, just cutting through the tuffet in Last Action Hero. Yeah, that's where the Uma Musume gathering's gonna be. The Arnold Schwarzenegger tuffet. I didn't check out the food trucks this year, but I had friends who did. I was just kind of disappointed with the exception of Okamoto Kitchen because I love Okamoto Kitchen. I just kind of felt that like I wanted to see more local eats here. California Pizza Kitchen, we can go right across the street for that. And then we also have like Five Guys burgers. I'm like, can we just like have like more local, unique kind of food trucks like within this area?
Yeah.
Yay, we have a new follower. Welcome, welcome. Once Upon a Mango. I do like that new follower animation. The reference is Sailor Mars. She has two companion crows, Phobos and Deimos, and they have a human form in the Sailor Moon movies that you can watch on Netflix. But yeah, I just really wished we had more food truck selection here that was like thematic to Japanese pop culture or even just like fusion Asian food too. Because Five Guys, we have that at home. California Pizza Kitchen, we have that across the street. However, there were food trucks outside the convention center that sold like local Mexican food. I didn't try those, but I had friends who did. And a lot of those food trucks, a lot of times, were much cheaper than what was inside the vicinity of the convention center. We're not really talking danger dogs, we're just talking about like local food trucks and local eats. All right. So we also had Itasha cars, even in our parking lot too. So I was just kind of just again, this is where I normally park in this lot area ish, and then just kind of like, oh hey, there's a Natasha in the lot we're in. And again, I was like looking at taking photos of Natasha cars that I don't get to see very often, that might not be able to showcase themselves at conventions. Like, ah, that's neat. All right, so some Sunday cosplays. I really appreciated like seeing Love Live cosplay. We have our tiger friend from K-pop Demon Hunters, and we also have our favorite eunuch uh, from Apothecary Diaries. I love how they're carrying the fan. This is also the guest signing area early Sunday morning. So this was actually moved from one side of the convention center to the other from last year. Really easy to navigate, plenty of room because that's one of the things I like about the Long Beach Convention Center is you never feel like you're sardined in, you never feel like you're overcrowded in. That's one advantage ALA has over Anime Expo because I just kind of feel like at any given time sometimes you feel sardine in at Anime Expo, whether it's the entertainment hall or the dealer's hall, but here you can really breathe. And here's our Pump It Up, and we also have Dance Dance Revolution. I wanted to play, but the headband on my wig was getting a little bit loose. Like I didn't want to risk it, so like oh, I'll just watch people play and just kind of just vibe and chill in the arcade zone. Arcade zone. This is just like one of my places to just kind of like just sort of decompress, just check out the arcade. Sometimes I'll just pop on into the cosplay repair room right across to like just fix up my wig or just get a couple more bobby pins to get my wig to stay. just some Sunday cosplays. We have Freerin. We have Kirsten from American Girl, which like made my heart happy. And here's me with an Urara cosplayer while I was just kind of wandering around the arcade zone. I also made it a point to just kind of like just be on the hunt for Uma Musume merch, particularly of any Uma Musume merch that had Zeno Rob Roy. And there's not a lot of Zeno Rob Roy merch, sadly, but it's okay. There was this booth that had an Uma Musume game, and basically, you would play against the vendor, and if you won, you'd get like the URA finale champion ribbon, as you can see here. If not, you would get a random losers ribbon or consolation prize. And because I was an Uma Musume cosplay, because I didn't win the game, I ended up just getting the Majoro McQueen ribbon, and it's basically a play on words with Lightning McQueen. So what if Majoro McQueen and Lightning McQueen merged? Ka-chow. So basically, how you play this game is like you just roll dice, and by the number of like the dice, you just kind of move up. So I ended up playing as Majoro McQueen, and I think I was going up against a Special Week in that one. The vendor was playing a Special Week, but I thought that was just a kind of cool game that they had at their booth. Okay, I don't have good photos of this because the room was dark the whole time. So I went to Yaya's panel um about just it was basically about managing social media, building an online presence, and also avoiding burnout. And I think she had some really sound advice in this panel. And I think it's like advice for anyone who wants to like build a portfolio, or just anyone who's creative in general. And I kind of felt like I attended this panel with a friend of mine who's also in the same category as well, because both of us have websites. And what Yaya emphasizes, like, yeah, social media algorithms, they're unpredictable. And what you need to do is you need to build a website to just kind of keep all your things in one place. You can use your social media to advertise like aspects of what you post on your website. So she talks about like, yeah, reels, they kind of come and go. Um, Videos on TikTok, they also kind of come and go. And she was just always just also just talking about like just how investing in a website could probably be the best thing that you can do for yourself to just kind of keep an online portfolio, keep an online web store, because and also when you have a website, you own all the things that you post on there, whereas you have an Instagram, whereas when you have a TikTok, or when you post on other major platforms, when you post your material on there, it becomes part of that platform. Whereas when you run a website, it's still all yours, and it's still under your control. So that's one of my main takeaways from her panel. I thought was very valuable, because anytime I attend like a cosplay social media kind of panel, it's always about like how to grow your numbers, buying followers, and it just didn't really sit well with me. Whereas this one, I just felt was just much more practical and much more sage advice from someone who's been around the community. And I've known Yaya's been around the community. I remembered when she performed at Anime Expo 2001, and I also remember when she was judging the karaoke contest. So I thought, again, very valuable information. It was just amazing. Okay, I also checked out the Idol Showcase. Watched once when Flo went on stage, or rather X Flo. I love their work. I don't have a photo of it here, but they're like one of the best like Kai Guy dancers. I don't know like if I could say like all of California and the nation, but they're amazing to watch. I just love X Flo's material. It's like just amazing to watch. You need to see them live to really believe it. And I've been very glad that they've been getting performances and gigs around California. They were like a performance guest at Umicon USA not too long ago. So I'm very happy for their success, and I'm very happy they were able to get a slot up for the Idol Showcase. So the Idol Showcase was about 3 hours long, and they had like a couple of idol groups, and you kind of had to apply and you had to be juried to get in. And they gave you about like I want to say like half an hour ish to perform songs. This is Moeage. They're part of Asayaro Maid Cafe. they were like my favorite group that was up on there. I loved their energy. I loved a lot of the songs that they had. I think a few of them were original, and they were just a lot of fun to see on stage. Like my friend and I were watching, like yeah, like we agreed that they're the best, and even my friend was just even taking notes and mentally just like on their outfits and just how like intricate they were and how are they able to move in them and how they were all self-contained. So Moyage, I definitely want to check out again when the Way Galaxy events that they host in Monterey Park, because I checked it out like last summer. That was a lot of fun, but like I want to check it out again. Um, hopefully next time I have a chance to, because they do bring out artists. They do bring out the Tasha Cars out there, and they're just such a fun group. So I highly recommend checking out Moyage. And we also had Himichu. I wanted to support my friend Amanda. She was performing in Himichu. Amanda Tanadiata, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, is one of my favorite people in the Kaigai Idol industry, or rather the Kaigai Idol community. She usually has a table at conventions, usually in the Artist Alley. She sells like all these like stickers, a lot of motivational stickers, and she's just like one of my favorite people in the community, and she's such a huge inspiration to a lot of us in the idol community, and she's just a joy to see on stage. So I saw her perform for the first time with Himichu. They were fun. I only caught like the first two songs, because I had to run over to the Uma Musume panel. But yeah, they were fun to watch on stage. So I was only able to check out like just a couple acts for Idol Showcase, but I kind of felt like we could have had more idols in the area performing. So it was a 3 hour show, and I just kind of felt like maybe if you gave like each idol group maybe two two or three songs, to like perform, you would definitely get more idol talent on there. Because again, there's a lot of talent here in Los Angeles, and I just kind of feel like just limiting it to just a few groups doesn't really quite give you the wide breadth that we have here in Southern California or California in general. They kind of double dipped with one of the guests of honor, Aounyan, who had a concert the night before, and then they had Aounyan close off the Idol Showcase. Like, okay, I would like the Idol Showcase to just mainly be like indie Kai Guy idols, and if you already have a guest of honor having their own concert, just let it be its own thing. But that's just my opinion. All right, let's talk about the Uma Musume panel. All right, so um, I was helping moderate my friends' Uma Musume panel, and basically they were just talking about the comparisons of the horses in real life and what's presented in the anime and in the game. And yes, we have one of the panelists in the chat right now. So I decided to do this in character. So as people were waiting, and it was like we were in live programming three, and we had that room, I want to say about 75% full. I decided to just kind of like just silently just walk on stage, stack a couple of my books right next to the microphone, and then just start reading. And this book here, it's by one of my writing buddies, Mia Hopkins, Cowboy Karma. For those of you who know me, I have a cat named Karma, so I just bought it on title alone. And I didn't read the back or anything. I was like, yeah, let's support a friend, and let me just and my cat is name's Karma, so why not, right? Apparently, it is Filipino American cowboy and nurse smut. So I will leave it at that, and check out Censorship Golshi. Yeah, so I was just reading this book as the panel was going on, just, hey, I am Zena Rob Roy reading a book. And I was just trying to keep a straight face the whole time, just staying busy reading a book. So basically, yeah, basically I was just kind of like just helping out, doing the vibe check, making sure we were on time, just answering any questions we had towards the end because we had about 15 minutes left over. And what I liked about, again, we had a very full panel, and this is Sunday. This was a Sunday at 2:45 p.m. to about 3:45 p.m. This is time when everyone should be leaving, checking out, but Anime Los Angeles, For a con as huge as it is, seeing the convention still alive and kicking on Sunday afternoon does say a lot. All right, just some Sunday cosplayers. I do appreciate the musical Mars, and this is based off the more recent musical designs. And God bless her shoes, because I would die walking in those red high heels. There is a reason why I only wear red high heels when I perform at CWF. Otherwise, I'm just wearing like my red comfort shoes, my red toe shoes. We also have Mecha, like Gundam RX-78 Hello Kitty. I actually have the gunpla of this like on my shelf. And then we have stereotypical Barbie. I actually have this costume. It is one of my favorite like comfy costumes. And then we have the Uma Musume cosplay meetup. This is the last thing I did at the convention. So these are photos by Aquarius22 on Discord. And I just wanted to showcase a few highlights. I'm still I admit, I'm still kind of insecure about how my cosplay photo is taken. Yes, horses. I know sometimes I just get very self conscious because of how my photo is taken. Like, because I look here like, oh my God, I look fat. I mean, it's not the worst thing. It's just, I just kind of like, yeah. Everyone looks here looks cute. Like, I feel like a potato. But yeah, this is just all of us in the school uniforms. I'm carrying around my Bridgerton book, and yeah, it was just like a fun group to be around. And also, um, in the dealer's hall, I actually bought myself some shrimp chips because I just wanted a snack. And then when we asked for the Ogre Cap cosplayers to just kind of like just gather, they were like, "Hey, does anyone like have any food?" Like, sure, I have shrimp chips. Like, you're more than welcome to help yourself. And then people were like, you're gonna those shrimp chips are gonna be gone, right? I'm like, well, yeah, anything for Gold Ship. I do. So no, over recap. Dang it. I do appreciate. I think that there's supposed to be the Hello Kitty ogre cap. Because now that like I've been watching through more of Cinderella Gray, like I want to cosplay as Ogre. Because she has an idol outfit that she wears at the start of the series, where she's like doing like this traditional Japanese dance, and like I want to cosplay this and learn the Japanese dance. And then there's a collaboration with Sanrio where Ogre is collaborating with Hello Kitty. He's like, please, I want to dress up like this. On closer inspection, it looks like the Christmas outfit for Ogre, not the Hello Kitty collab. Because I kind of have the Hello Kitty collab kind of downloaded in my brain right now. But yes, horses. And this was the shot of the. This is our first group shot, also taken by Aquarius22. Yes, it is the Christmas outfit. I'm like, my bad. Yeah, because like the Christmas outfit for Ogre has like the same kind of shape as the Hello Kitty collab outfit. So like I want to do the Hello Kitty collab outfit, please. And I need the Hello Kitty collab merch as well. Because reasons. I'm not an acrylic stand person, but like if I wanted an acrylic stand, I get the Hello Kitty acrylic stand. Okay, yeah, and here's just a group shot of everyone there. And this is just us just kind of like, yeah. I mean, I don't look too bad in this photo again. This has been a while since anyone has taken a photo of me, and I get very self-conscious about how I look, and that's why I just been doing like a lot of self shoots. I was just kind of waddling to get over there because I had like my bags of books and stuff and my merch. So I just kind of like just went on the Arnold Schwarzenegger Tough Fit right here to just kind of like, yeah, I'm here. I'm Zena Rob Roy. And that pretty much just kind of concludes Sunday of Anime Los Angeles after the cosplay meetup. It was a fun cosplay meetup. Like right after like everyone had dispersed when we completed the gathering, we were just trading ribbons. We were just kind of like just hanging out in the area because the gathering was at 4 o'clock and it went till 5 o'clock. And since we were like the last gathering there, we just had like a lot of Uma Musume cosplayers just kind of hanging out at that Tough Fit. We were meeting up with a friend over at Islands at 5:30 to just go grab dinner. The less said about the Chargers game, the better. But just ended up just having dinner at Islands. I was kind of sad that my go-to burger wasn't available, but you know what? Just kind of like just unwind, had a great time. It was a very busy Sunday. It was a marvelous Sunday, but I had a great time. Um, it was just a lot, and I think I was just ready to just kind of take a nap at the end. All right, before we get into our final thoughts of Anime Los Angeles, definitely check out my book, The Fangirl Diaries. This book takes a look at the world of anime, cosplay, and conventions in an era before streaming and social media. What was it like to be into anime in the 90s? What was it like to be a millennial and grow up with Sailor Moon, Toonami, and so forth? And what was it like trying to convince your strict Asian parents to go to your first anime convention? Check it all out in the Fangirl Diaries. I do see a few readers in the chat. Thank you so much for buying my book. I very much appreciate it. And I know Glitch Melly, I signed your copy at the convention and you got my ribbon. And if you're listening to this right now, definitely check out my book. I'll link in the description. You can get it through Amazon, bookshop.org. And there are a few stores such as Underdog Bookstore and Untold Story the Untold Story bookstore in Anaheim that have signed copies of my book. All right, let's just kind of go through final thoughts of Anime Los Angeles. Anime Los Angeles, like I said, in many of my Anime Los Angeles Long Beach era um, videos and reports, I really like this convention. And it has had such a huge glow up since its days in Van Nuys. You couldn't tell the Van Nuys, the Marriott. I don't even think I was even there for the Ontario era. But this convention, I think, has really just grown up and had a glow up all for the better. And I just really enjoyed the vibes. I mean, a lot. I mean, yeah, I do agree with my friends. There was just a lot to do, and that's why you really had to expand it to 4 days. But because I was just so busy with like just so many things, like I said, I was in Cosplay Wrestling Federation. I did things with Angel Hearts. I was running panels. I was a part of a ribbon game, and now I just signed up to do another ribbon game for next year. And one of the ribbon games, and if you're an Uma Musume fan, was collecting all the lyrics to Uma Poi Legend, as seen here by El Condor Pasa. And I just had such a good time just cosplaying your friends. I know the photo on the left, it's a candid photo because my timer went off a little bit too early, but it just feels so in character for the two of them. And I just had such a fun time just cosplaying Uma Musume with friends. Um, I just had such a fun time doing Cosplay Wrestling Federation. I had a fun time with Angel Hearts, and there's just a lot of great things that this con has going for them. I think my only disappointment, it's more of a personal disappointment, was what was just not being able to like to take as many photos of cosplayers or vibes as I would normally do. Because I was putting together like, oh yeah, I forgot to take a photo of this entrance. I forgot to take a selfie with this. I wish I'd taken more my personal cosplay photos. But I still had a good time nonetheless. I mean, I always felt there was just something going on. I mean, granted, there were a few points at the convention where I was just kind of in this weird headspace, but still good vibes all around. Um, I also like the fact that I can identify some zones to destim. That was not necessarily the quiet zone. Yeah, it was the parents' lounge slash quiet room. I like going to Beanbag Land. I don't know if there was an official name for Beanbag Land, but that was also like one of my favorite places to just kind of de-stim and to just kind of decompress. There's parts on the second floor of the convention center, usually right outside the karaoke room, where you can just kind of just decompress and just kind of like just take a breather. Um, that's one of the things I like about this convention. Like even if you get overstimulated, there's a lot of places to just kind of decompress. Um, I think one of my biggest critiques of Anime Los Angeles, I felt like they used to implement this before, but I would like to see, um, excuse me, I would like to see pronouns on badges because a lot of Pacific Northwest conventions, they've been having like where you can put a pronoun sticker like on your badge where people can see it. Like I'd be okay with a side ribbon, I'd be okay with being able to add your pronouns as you're printing out your badge name, or even just having it on a sticker, just somewhere where it's visible so people can see your pronouns. I mean, people were saying like, yeah, it should be like a ribbon on your ribbon tail thing. I know people like to collect ribbons, and sometimes ribbons might not be easy to see, especially if you're putting it on the ribbon tail, unless you have it at the very first ribbon on there, or if you don't plan to collect ribbons during the weekend. But like having an option for like to have a pronoun sticker on your badge would be very helpful, especially in 2026. And I really think anime conventions, if they're not implementing it, they should implement pronoun stickers on badges. It just shows like it to me when a convention allows for pronoun stickers. It just shows like, yeah, you're welcome here. Anyway, panel wise, there's a lot of panels going on. Like I really want there's more I wanted to check out, but a lot of them were just kind of happening at the same time I wanted to do things. I really wanted to check out Carl Horn's panel. Because he was part of Viz, and I may have ran into him at conventions, and I know his name is mentioned a lot on Fansview Fridays. Like, hey, I just want to see Carl Horn. I wanted to just get one more last selfie with Yaya, but I had to run to the Uma Musume cosplay meetup. It was just nice to reconnect with her again because I haven't, like I said, I haven't spoken to her in years. So I would have loved to have done that. It was kind of cool meeting more Pacific Northwest cosplayers. Seeing later Rebecca Fashions um, portray Felicity and Kirsten during the weekend finally just inspires like, you know what, I'm going to buckle down and I'm going to make Felicity's birthday dress. I have the pink fabric in my storage. I just need to get the floral apron and let's go. All right. So that's just my general final thoughts on it and other final thoughts. I just had a great time. I always enjoyed doing Cosplay of Wrestling Federation. I always loved performing with Angel Hearts. I love the Long Beach location. I didn't have any issues with security, but I always know to prepare anytime I have to go through security. Always have my badge out. Um, I tend to avoid certain places of the convention where there's a lot of gooner photographers. Not my people. I have preferred photo locations. I really like that Rainbow Bridge area. But like I said, it's a good problem to have when there's a lot to do because it shows like, yeah, like you're funneling people in. But I also heard from observations from friends that there weren't like a lot of panel rooms that were being filled by people. I'm very thankful that I got a lot of people in the Magical Girl panel that I was running on Thursday. That Uma Musume got a huge crowd on Sunday towards the end of the day. Angel Hearts, we nearly filled up that room, and we had people who wanted to learn how to dance. So that was also pretty neat too. So yeah, I just had a great time. Again, I love the Long Beach location. I definitely plan to do ALA next year, and I always recommend to people if you're gonna pick one California convention to travel to. I'm talking to the out of state folks. Pick Anime Los Angeles. If you're going in from the East Coast to the West Coast, you don't have to deal with snow. I mean, yeah, it does. When I say it's cold at night, by cold, it's like 60 degrees. Nothing you can't handle. It's not like Katsucon where it's snowing outside and it's like 10 degrees. But I just had a great time at this convention, and I'm hoping for more ALAs to come. It's just unfortunate that a few times I was just kind of in a weird mental headspace, but that's not a problem with the convention. It's just like, yeah, like sometimes when we have our mental health issues, we just kind of need to find a place to decompress. And I'm also glad that ALA has some really nice places to decompress. I know Geki had a moment when he was looking at the benches that were in the beanbag zone. He was like, wait, I remember putting this bench together. Like, yeah, you did. Yeah, let's see. So much at the same time. I had to miss the first 15 minutes of CWF because a cosplayer I follow had her appearance at the same time. Yeah, I'm hoping like maybe next year that they put CWF like at a later time slot because the 3:45 time slot just kind of caught me off guard. But I think that's more of ALA's decision to make. But hopefully maybe next year I don't know. I always like the later time slots for Cosplay Wrestling Federation because I kind of feel like we can get away with a little bit more if you catch my drift. Um, and I would like to be back in that room one, in the live programming one for night two. But otherwise, I still had a great time with Cosplay Wrestling Federation. And with that said, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Convention Tea. I'm the Wisteria Witch. Definitely check us out on our socials. This is your first time checking us out. Definitely hit that follow button. We'll appreciate more followers. If you're on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. And definitely leave us a comment if you want us to do more of these. Definitely donate to our Ko-Fi. Even $5 is a lot to contribute to our working. It will definitely go a long way. Yeah, there's Ko-Fi. Also check out my book, The Fangirl Diaries. It's all about what anime and convention culture was like for millennials at the turn of the 21st century. And also, if you have a moment, if you're feeling charitable, donate to Nico's vet bills. We love Nico. Nico's a good cat. We love him. And yeah, I will leave it at this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always a pleasure having you all